everyone ready? Come, take a seat. Come, is everyone ready or not? Ready, yeah? Alright, let's begin. Tonight, as always, we'll be playing for the grand prize of a brand new BTO in Singapore. All yours.
Don't worry, guys, don't worry. Tonight, I'm the winner.
Hey, Xiao Wei, see last time also the same thing. Can change your line or not?
Hey, don't see me. If anyone deserves to win a BTO flat, it's me, okay?
I want one too.
Before this one.
Your first time
But everyone has an equal chance at winning, right?
This one
Good luck to everybody. Good luck to everybody. Okay, come, like, dealer. Wow, lah.
Aiyo boy, so sweet Aiyo, heng on hot see?
I'll hold.
No need.
Okay, what do you all have?
Not bad
Wow. Girl, how about you?
Not bad, right?
Auntie try 4 times already
Wow, not bad, not bad. But uncle better, right? What like? Wow, wait.
Aiyo, every time like
Yeah,
that.
Thank you.
Yeah, some
Why every time also like that?
As someone who recently applied for a BTO, successfully getting one feels like a game of chance.
I applied for a 5-room flat in Tampines in August 2022. I watched the application rate for first-timers climb from 10:1 to 18.5:1. As you might have guessed, I ended up not even getting a queue number. But though I kinda expected to fail, with people telling me getting a BTO on the first try is like tong toto like that, it was still kinda disappointing. But I'm not the only one who feels this way. Lately, the conversation around the BTO system has been heating up. Singapore is supposed to have one of the best public housing systems in the world. So why are people so unhappy? First, some historical background. Before the BTO system, HDB flats were sold under the Registration for Flats system, where homes were actually built first, then sold after. HDB was building homes at a rapid pace in the 1990s. But when the Asian financial crisis hit in 1997, Singaporeans tightened their purse strings. About 30,000 unsold HDB flats were left sitting around collecting dust. And it took about 5 years before HDB was able to sell them off. And so, the BTO system was born. Potential buyers have to register their interest first, then HDB will assess the demand for each project and start construction only if the demand exceeds 70%. Fast forward to 2023, and this is where we are now. This is the Mothership Guide to Adulting, Housing Edition. Based on our observations, it seems like there are 3 main considerations when buying a house. Good, cheap, and fast. Good means a home in a desirable location, usually a mature estate that's well developed, has a lot of amenities, and is closer to central Singapore. Cheap means paying a subsidized government rate for a BTO flat. And yes, I know there's definitely been some strong and valid debate about whether BTO flats are still considered cheap. But on the whole, BTO prices are still lower than resale HDB flats in the same area. And fast means being able to live in your home as soon as possible, especially after one's wedding. Everyone wants a home that is good, cheap, and fast. I also want one too. But it seems like many people are unhappy because most of the time, we can only settle for 2 out of the 3. The first scenario, you want good and cheap. Everyone wants a HDB flat in a mature estate, right? After all, a good location is everything. And you don't want to pay for a flat in the current sky-high resale market, so you want cheap. But in this case, you'll miss out on fast. Back to the August 2022 BTO exercise I took part in, with the exception of Woodlands, all non-mature estate BTO projects had a much lower application rate than the mature estates. A high application rate, assuming your luck so-so only, could mean that you could be waiting a long time before you get the flat of your dreams. The average waiting time for a BTO project is now 4 to 5 years. So even if you successfully ballot for a flat right now, you could potentially be waiting to 2027 or 2028. To counter the delay, HDB has increased the supply of BTOs in mature estates. HDB is also pushing to reduce the waiting time for flats delayed during the pandemic and pledged to launch more flats with shorter waiting times. Second scenario, you want a flat that is cheap and fast. That probably means applying for less popular estates, which means you could be compromising on how good the BTO is. Not saying a 3-room flat or living in Choa Chu Kang is bad, but most people would prefer living in a bigger house or in a more convenient location, right? But because mature estates are in such high demand, and you're not able to spend too much time balloting over and over again every 3 months, you might decide, hey, it might not be so bad to live in a more ulu location lah. Or, maybe I don't need a 5 or 4-room flat. A 3-room flat also can. Take November 2022's BTO exercise. If you don't mind living in Yishun, or if you don't mind taking a 3-room flat in Bukit Batok, you're almost certainly guaranteed to get a flat as a first-timer. MND encourages Singaporeans that are keen on securing a BTO flat ASAP to apply for flats in non-mature estates. Incentives include increasing the allocated flat supply for first-timers in non-mature estates, as well as giving additional ballot chances to first-timers who have failed twice. The classification of mature and non-mature estates is also currently being reviewed to see whether it should be adjusted to keep pace with the times. Then the final scenario. You want a home that is fast and good. This means that you're likely going to have to give up on the BTO system altogether and forget about cheap. The fastest way of getting a home in your ideal location is of course buying a resale flat. This way, you can choose precisely where you want to live, how many rooms, and what floor. But it's almost certainly going to be more expensive than a BTO. Let's take Choa Chu Kang again, for example. The median resale price of a flat there was $420,000 in Q1 2020, but by Q3 2022, that rose to a whopping $588,000. That's a 40% increase. Some high-demand areas like Queenstown and Kallang Whampoa are also seeing median resale prices of nearly $900,000. That's a lot of money. According to HDB, first-timers may receive up to $160,000 to buy a resale flat. This comes in the form of the CPF housing grant, also the proximity housing grant, as well as the enhanced housing grant. All in all, you can't always get what you want, no matter the policy. But of course, people are still worried. Will Singapore's housing market become more and more inaccessible? Maybe it's time to stop thinking of BTOs as financial investments and more as what it was always intended to be. Public housing. Okay, I know you guys already have your pitchforks ready, but hold on. Of course, no one wants to compromise on what we want, especially if it's probably going to be the biggest and most important purchase of our lives. But the reality is that some of us are probably not going to get our dream HDB home. Personally, for now, my priorities are good and cheap. It's why my partner and I decided to try for the prime location housing in Kallang Whampoa in November, even though it has a 10-year MOP, which means we'd be staying in the area for a very long time. We applied with the mindset of that being our forever home, mainly because we want to stay close to our parents. That said, if applying for BTOs in mature estates continues to fail, we will likely switch our priorities to good and fast instead, and sadly forgo cheap. For each person, these priorities will be different. What about you? What are your priorities? Let us know in the comments below.
Thanks for watching this video. If you'd like to see more, don't forget to click on the subscribe button and the notification bell.